You're listening to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. I'm Allison Boyle, aka She Dreams of Alpine, and this is the show that's dedicated to all the adventurous spirits out there who have either been transformed by the outdoors or are interested in what it looks like to step into a new, adventurous, and courageous kind of identity in their life. It doesn't matter what your background is in the outdoors, what age you're starting at, or where you grew up. If you're curious about the outdoors and using adventure as a way to reinvent yourself, you're in the right place. I'll be sharing all kinds of personal adventure stories, lessons I've learned from the mountains, teaching what I know about the outdoors and leadership, and interviewing some amazing adventurous women all along the way. I've been coaching women on becoming safe, confident, and self-sufficient backpackers and leaders of their own adventurous lives since 2018, and I know exactly what big fears and self-doubts can pop up along the way. I have so much to share with you, so let's dive in. Hello everyone, it's Allison, and before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to just kind of give a quick announcement. So I'm taking a little summer break from the podcast. I've got some very exciting personal adventures planned for the summer and also some really epic client trips that are coming up on the horizon. So this pause is really just to give me and my team a little space to breathe and reset and focus in other areas of our business right now. But I didn't want to leave you hanging with nothing to listen to over the summer. So I am going to be sharing something really special. I'm going to be sharing a behind the scenes audio series from my hike on the John Muir Trail. So my husband Michael and I set out to thru-hike the John Muir Trail back in 2020. So that is a while ago now. We were aiming to finish it in 22 days, but due to some massive wildfires and a full national forest closure, we had to bail early. This is something we definitely didn't expect. So this series, for some reason, we decided to record like a daily podcast back then. This was before I even had the podcast. But this series is going to be showing you a real, raw, behind the scenes audio that we recorded on the trail when we were out there doing the John Muir Trail as we dealt with all the highs, the lows, the relationship dynamics, and also the huge disappointment of getting kicked off the trail early in 2020, and then our eventual comeback in 2021 to finish it. So if you have ever dreamed of hiking the JMT or you just love a good adventure story, you are going to love these sort of like bite-sized episodes that are coming up of our kind of behind the scenes trail diary. This is something that I've never released before. So I really think you're going to enjoy this, and it will kind of like fill that, adventure itch that you might be getting while we're taking a little break from our normal episodes. And this series will run through about mid-August, and then we will be back with fresh episodes on the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. If you're listening to this kind of midway in the series, be sure to go back and listen to previous episodes. But at the end of the day, I hope you enjoy this and that it's a nice little kind of thing to get you excited about your own adventures and maybe even eventually pursuing the John Muir Trail one day. All right, let's dive in. Okay, hello. This is Allison.
What's up, everybody?
And Michael. We're doing the JMT podcast again. This is day 4.
Day 4, and you know me better than I know myself.
What? Oh my gosh. I feel like we should start this over, but we're just going to keep going. Okay, so day 4. Today we went from Guitar Lake northbound to we went down to Crabtree Meadows first, and then we made our way all the way to Shepherd's Pass Junction today. And it was about 11.5 miles and 1,700 feet of gain total for the day. So what'd you think about today, Michael?
It was pretty awesome. All the uphill was super, what do you call it? The grade was just like very consistent and
it wasn't
not
like
very
super
stair-steppy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like other days so far. So, which is unusual out here. So that was actually really nice. It was like going up ramps.
Yeah, there was this one section that was like this really long uphill, but it was like a ramp the whole way. And so like And the grade didn't change at all. So it was almost like we could get into like a really like cardio pace.
Which is interesting. The other side of that canyon that we came down was switchbacks and stairs.
Yeah.
But the other way we went up was like a ramp. So
yeah, today was like, we knew it wasn't going to be a super hard day because it was like a lot of downhill at first and then a little bit of uphill. We had more of our uphill, I feel like, towards the end of the day than really at the beginning.
Yeah, just the second half.
Yeah.
Started seeing a lot more people on the trail.
Yeah, a lot of the people going southbound on the JMT, we were running into them, and yeah.
Which is, you say that after we pass Onion Valley, it might die off again. It's not like a ridiculous amount of people either, but a lot more than we saw coming up a Cottonwood to Mount Whitney.
Yeah, and I think we were like thinking about what we wanted to talk about on the podcast today, and we met like quite a few like interesting people on the trail and had some funny conversations. Like our first encounter of the day was a couple of dudes that were heading back to they were heading back down through Whitney because they were supposed to be going northbound on the JMT, but one of the guys has been like the last 3 days nonstop.
Well, the 3 days they've been out here.
Yeah. The last 3 days has been like nonstop vomiting.
Yeah. And I mean, the dude was sweating. He looked pretty terrible.
He said he hadn't been able to eat any food, and there's not a whole lot of options for exits out here. It's like you either go back to Cottonwood Pass or you go forward to Shepherd's Pass, which is where we are, or you go out of Whitney.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because they're not good options. Whitney, you have to gain a lot of elevation to get out, and then you have to go down the miserable 99.
It's like 7,000 feet of descent. It's like pretty intense, but
it's the quickest.
It's the quickest, and he'll get some relief going down in elevation.
Mm-hmm. And pretty quickly.
Then, but Cottonwood Pass is like you're at elevation like the entire time. Like you don't really get that relief.
And it's like 30 plus miles, right, to get out.
Miles.
So probably 3 days for somebody in that condition.
And from what we've read, we haven't never done the whole Shepherd's Pass trail out, but we've read it's kind of a bitch to climb.
Yeah, getting to
descend.
Where we got today wasn't bad. Like if I was feeling bad, it wouldn't be any harder than going up Whitney. But if you wanted to actually exit, it would be like a pretty steep downhill and a pretty rough terrain from what I hear. But also they had a friend. Logistically, they had some friend that they were supposed to meet up with that they needed to give a heads up that they weren't going to be there where they were supposed to meet. So they had a pretty rough situation ahead of them.
And we were talking about it, and I was like telling Michael, I was like, if my friend like day one on the trail hadn't been able to hold food down, I probably would have told him to turn around, because like that level of altitude sickness where you're not able to eat at all, eat or hold anything down, and you're just vomiting is pretty like serious, because you're going to be losing fluids, which is what you need, and you need food for energy to keep going.
And if you're puking and you're not actually gaining any more elevation.
Yeah.
Like they were probably hanging around camp and he was still like, yeah, those are not great signs.
The problem with starting at Cottonwood Pass or at Whitney or going northbound on the JMT in general is that you start at a really high elevation, and if you haven't acclimatized properly, like stayed a few days up at elevation, like say you come early, you should definitely come early and stay in like Mammoth Lakes for a few days before you head out on the trail, or
just at elevation.
Yeah, you just need to be like getting adapted to the altitude before you head out northbound on something like Cottonwood Pass or Whitney, or you're gonna feel pretty sick.
Ideally 2 to 3 days. I mean,
and drinking tons of water.
I mean, and they had Gatorade, which I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know why they had Gatorade.
It's like, how many Gatorade bottles do you have shoved back there? Oh, you know what? Maybe it's powdered Gatorade.
Maybe. But still, that's probably not the best thing.
Yeah,
either. It's super sugary. It'd probably be better to have something like Noon tablets, which are like electrolytes, but they're not super sugary. And also I was asking them if they had any broth, because broth is like something you can kind of consume. It gives you more fluids and also makes you feel like a little satiated if you're feeling altitude sick.
And it has salt. It's like the best of, especially like the ramen baggies.
Little packets of the little ramen packets.
Seasoning.
I told Michael, like, I've done the Onion Valley to Whitney Portal section before, and when we didn't live up here in Mammoth, it's like we definitely had to spend a day before heading out on the trail at altitude, and even then we would feel like somewhat nauseous because it's just you're camping at like 11,000 feet like every night during this section, so you don't get a whole lot of relief. But anyways, we were just, we wish them the best, and he looked pretty miserable. So his friend, was awesome that he was helping him get out.
Yeah, it sucks for him. Because he's obviously, I'm sure they'll get back on the trail. I'm sure they have the time off already. Like, he'll get back in
later on the trail. Yeah. I think what I would have done is just at the beginning, first day, I would have been like, well, first of all, I would have made my friend adapt to the altitude beforehand, especially if I knew we were coming from sea level. But then also, if he was not able to hold down food that first day, probably tell him to hike back to the trailhead and meet me further down the trail.
After acclimating a little bit.
Because that would just be safer than getting yourself out here.
And you just lose 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing it quick in 10 to 12, that's nothing.
Yeah. So anyways, and then, okay, let's talk about the other guy we ran into on the trail. So, okay, for anybody listening to this podcast, this is 2020, year of coronavirus.
September 2020.
So one of the unusual things you're packing this year in your backpacking gear is some sort of mask or buff to make sure that you can cover your face, because if you go into town you have to wear a mask in town. I don't know if we've already talked about that. Maybe we did.
No, I don't think so, but yeah.
But anyways,
we have those.
There's this guy. Do you want to tell it, or should I tell it?
Okay, so
I just thought it was really funny.
It's just funny because it's the most extreme version of what we've been seeing, even living in Mammoth on the trail.
Yeah.
Yet so far. So we have this. We hadn't seen anybody for a while. We were coming down a pass, and then we come across this one dude fully decked out. Had a mask. The guy was he had bear spray, which is the first guy I've seen out here with bear spray.
You're actually not technically supposed to bring bear spray out here.
You're not legally supposed to have it out here, which we could, I guess,
but that wasn't
later.
The funny part.
But anyways, the funny part is we're coming down a pass, down switchbacks, and so you either have a drop on one side or you have a wall on the other side, and this guy was adamant of getting his 6 feet of distance, because he was crawling up this loose sandy wall literally for about 20 feet until we passed them.
He had a mask on, and then when he saw us 20 feet ahead, he just started scaling the wall, and we were just what?
He was slipping down the wall.
We were like, whoa. We would have pulled over. Normally we just kind of pull over to the side but let people pass. But
he wouldn't have gotten his distance. There's nowhere for us to go.
But it was intense,
and we didn't have our mask handy at this point. Or our buffs. And so, anyways, I don't want to make too much fun of him because, he was doing his thing.
Whatever, to each his own. Obviously,
but it was just a little entertainment, a little trail entertainment, watching this guy scale the dirt wall with all his gear on.
Usually, you have lovely conversations when you pass people, but this one was just the very we are in a pandemic and hiking the JMT.
Yeah.
It just felt.
For all we know, he could have been a doctor and he was afraid of giving us something. Who knows? I
don't know. Yeah. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
If this guy finds this, hit us up.
It was mostly just entertaining.
I want to see the thought behind your process.
We were just thinking how much trouble he's going to have going up from Guitar Lake to Whitney, because it's a really narrow path and drop off stone wall walls. You just can't scale it. It's not possible.
And it's the busiest section of the trail.
Yeah, it's
so that was actually part of the comedy, was that we were thinking like it was just us two. We hadn't seen anybody for a while. We didn't see anybody behind him for a while. So the fact that he went to those measures, he's got another thing coming when he gets to Whitney, if he's going to Whitney.
Yeah.
But that was pretty funny. Can we also mention that this is our first podcast not in the tent?
Oh, yeah.
We're actually sitting outside in a really cool campsite. We have a creek about 30 feet away from us that we did a little washing of clothes in for the first time.
We're at the Shepherd's Pass Junction campground, and it's really, really nice. And we found a really lovely site, and we got here at like 4 p.m. and we washed some of our really smelly clothes and underwear and socks.
Yeah.
And set up tent. Now we're doing this before it gets dark, because I get kind of tired when we do this super late at night. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah, yesterday
I don't feel like
cut
talking.
It short. Well, yesterday's was pretty short, so hopefully we'll make up for it today. But also, I'm excited because for the first time, we have a big pass tomorrow, Forester Pass.
No.
Isn't it Forester?
Yeah, Forester, yeah.
But
wait. Yes.
For the first time, we may be seeing in the direction that we're headed, we're seeing less and less smoke. And as of right now, south and west of where we are, super hazy, super smoky. But north, the direction we're headed, I'm assuming it's north, it's actually really clear. So I'm curious to see if that's a time of day thing, or if that's just how it is. Like, maybe we've reached the tip of the spear here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that'll be nice.
Oh, and I feel like I should give an update on my feet for anybody who's super curious.
That's true. That was a big part of the.
So this morning,
yesterday.
I did a really good tape job. I did duct tape on the one that I had cleaned up on my toe, and then wrapped that in paper tape, because paper tape just sticks better. Every other tape I've ever used either sticks to your skin too much and like your toes will stick together, or it falls off like when it gets sweaty. So like duct tape alone would like fall off, so you kind of need to wrap it with something. So I did the duct tape for padding and then wrapped it in paper tape. And then same thing with my heel. I did like a little donut thing with the is it moleskin?
Yeah, moleskin.
Yeah, moleskin. I rarely use moleskin these days, so I don't remember. But I did that, and then duct tape on top of that, and then paper tape on top of that. And
the moleskin's good for that area because it's awkward to tape.
Everything looks like nothing looks worse. Everything looks about the same or better than it did yesterday, and I didn't get anything new.
It felt better too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and we did a lot of taking our shoes off and air drying every single
shoes
rest,
and socks.
at least like 5 or 6 times.
I was setting my socks in the sun, even if it was for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like we have kind of like a rhythm where it's like every 2 to 3 miles we stop, and it's not like not all of them are big breaks, but we'll do like small breaks, and then every major water source we like fill up on water, and every now and then, like, we have usually 2 really big breaks, it feels like, and then a bunch of shorter little ones throughout the day.
Yeah, it's been a good pace for the amount of miles we're doing. We're doing a reasonable amount of miles a day, so there's no point in rushing. And usually, I mean, we lock out and we get to take breaks in some pretty bitchin' spots.
Mm-hmm. We had a lot of songs stuck in our head today.
We've had songs stuck in our head.
What was
every day.
The first one was On the Road Again?
On the Road Again, yeah.
That's
which
like a classic.
I got from Shrek.
It's like an everyday classic for this one.
And I don't even know the original song. I just know it from Shrek, which is funny. But
and then oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the other songs we had stuck in our head.
Thank God. I don't care if you forgot.
Was it Ain't No Mountain High?
No, you're making that up now.
No, what was the one that was like I was singing?
It was like a TLC song.
TLC song. I was telling Michael it's just so funny how like the randomest songs that you never listen to come into your head. I remember the last song that was stuck in our head. Tonight, I've got a feeling.
Oh, I got a feeling, yeah.
That tonight's going to be a good night, but I was changing the lyrics. Like, I've got a feeling
that this hill's going to be the last hill.
Yeah,
and it was.
wasn't.
No, it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought that was further back.
It's not really fair because I have a GPS and like I did all the planning and I kind of knew where our last hill was. So
we came across this one area that was like really desolate.
yeah,
There's
it was
like,
super cool.
It was this plateau.
Oh, it's called the Bighorn Plateau.
The Bighorn Plateau. Yeah, and it's like no trees.
You can actually camp up there. There's like a really random like lake thing.
It's kind of cool because you come out of the forest into what looks like the freaking Sahara Desert, but with rocks, tiny small rocks. There's nothing big, and
Just
and
like
then
a
you go
few
back
scraggly trees.
just very small, yeah, like out in the distance, and one sad-looking lake. But it's a cool area because you feel like you're. We took a break up there,
took a break
and it
there.
feels like we were waiting on the side of the road in the middle of the desert for like a ride.
Yeah. And it was like the most uncomfortable break ever because there was like nowhere to sit. It was all just like tiny little rocks.
Yeah, but
it was cool.
Luckily,
I don't
it
think
wasn't hot or
I don't
anything,
think
so
I would
you-
have chosen to camp there though.
yeah, we did meet a couple that was on their way there,
Yeah.
which interesting taste.
Yeah.
It would have been cool. That leads me though to the other topic we were going to talk about today, which
What was
is
that?
the ultralight packs we've been noticing. I feel like they've been getting smaller and smaller, and to the point where you made a sort of what's it called,
Observation?
observation.
Okay. I was like, what word are you trying
I
to
forgot
say?
the word. It's been a long day.
Stop.
No, it itches.
Yes, but that's so distracting.
I have a rash. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, stop, seriously. You're just so fidgety. Seriously, you have a problem. Okay. Anyways. But yeah, the packs are super small and I just really don't think a bear can fit in them.
Peculiar.
And I don't really care. I mean, I just know that you're not supposed to be out here without a bear can. But
We definitely saw some
they're
day packs that look bigger than my, ultralight packs that look.
But maybe
bigger,
those dudes are
smaller than
really
my
gnarly
day
and they're
pack.
doing like a full day from like Shepherd's Pass to Whitney and just out in one
Yeah,
day.
I mean, there's no knowing.
Yeah.
But some of them we've talked to, been doing the JMT. But yeah, the ones that we saw that were really, really small, we didn't really get to stop and talk
One
to
guy
them.
had a plate on top of his thing though, and I was like, you don't need a plate if you're only doing something in a day.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But-
Maybe that's his favorite plate.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. We just think it's funny because we're always just like, damn, that's
Yeah,
a light
they
pack.
keep getting smaller and smaller. It's crazy. But
I mean, we did pretty good. Our pack weights are probably now like, mine's probably like low to mid 20s and yours is probably like
30
mid
maybe?
to high 20s.
No, mine's probably still like 30. Right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right. Probably like low 30s.
Low to high 20s, I would say.
Mine's probably like mid 20s.
It's like now we started like doing 2 liters of water randomly
Yeah,
because we have lighter packs, so we just like,
it's
yeah,
just
carry
like
most water.
there's been like big like sections where, and you just never, with the smoke, I feel like I've been thirstier.
And also, it's just better to drink more because I got cramps one night.
So
That was annoying. And it's hard, to like just start chugging water when you lay down and go to bed because you know you're gonna be getting up. So, but yeah, I don't mind. I was telling you, like, I don't care to go super ultra light. Like, I might get some other things that are light, like sleeping bag and sleeping pad, maybe. But besides that, I can't think of.
yeah, I was telling you this
like
morning.
the tent's fine. Like,
I was telling you this morning that I'm really glad that I brought my Kindle
Yeah.
because I've read a whole lot already, and it's only been like 3 days.
those Kindles are seriously light.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I was impressed, like, because I hadn't taken it out of the case ever since you gave it to me, and so I knew I wasn't gonna take it. I was like, it's too heavy, and then I took it out of the case, and I was like, whoa, it's like 60% of the weight was that case, maybe more. So I'm glad we took it. We brought it as well. So far, how are you doing with batteries?
Oh, so that's an interesting topic. I've been doing pretty good. So like I did all of the optimization things you can do to your phone. Really the only thing, like I have I have the Garmin InReach Mini, which I don't expect I'll actually need to charge at all. I won't have to charge at all. I will if we just have outlet access at our resupplies. I also have the Kindle, and then I have my phone, and those are the main 3 things that I have to charge. And I bought an external battery that can do 5.7 full phone charges.
Which you're plugged into right now?
Yeah, I am plugged into right now. But what I've been able to do is I'm tracking myself when we're hiking on the Gaia app. So I could even optimize it further if I didn't do that. If I just checked in.
I brought my phone and I'm not using it at all. It's just a backup. And I have
But I haven't said how much I'm getting out of it. Hold on. So
what do you mean?
I've been able to go 2 days tracking myself a full 9 hours a day without having to charge it. So every 2 days I have to charge it, which I think is going to work fine because we should be able to charge my external battery at resupplies.
Yeah.
So.
And like I said, I haven't been using my phone, so my phone's fine. And then I brought 4 batteries with my camera. We have 2 days left to our resupply.
Mm-hmm.
And I am currently on my second battery, and it's I think at 70%.
Yeah.
So I may have actually brought too many batteries.
Well, I don't know. We have a 7-day stretch, and we're not for sure about the charging situation at Muir Trail Ranch. So.
That's true. And I'm not saying that because I regret bringing 4, because you just never know. And I've been actually experimenting with keeping the batteries in the sleeping bag with me and it doesn't seem to really have an effect on those batteries.
I just don't think it's gotten super cold yet.
Not super cold, but maybe in the future. I'm going to continue for the camera batteries to do that.
I also do that with my phone. I keep it in my sleeping bag.
Put it in my sleeping bag and forget about it. And then, so for the first stretch, I'll be fine. Plenty of batteries. So we'll see what it's like recharging them. And then I brought an external battery charger as well that does about 3 charges.
But your external battery is
so I'm getting to that. I got so it's a really cool external battery.
Except not,
yeah. So it's a Goal Zero. It's really light. It doesn't do quite as much as Allison's, which is heavier, but it still does 3 to 4 full charges. And I brought it mainly for my headlamp because the headlamp I brought doesn't use batteries. It recharges you through USB.
It's the bendy headlamp from Petzl. It's really nice.
It's really lightweight. And it's
BINDI.
Yeah, pretty bright for what it is. Plenty for what we need it for. And then I haven't needed to recharge that, so that's good. But the external battery has drained probably 70% from no use. Now here's the stupid thing about this external battery. It's thrown in my bag. It's actually waterproof. The thing is super well made and light, but it's got 2 buttons on the face of it. One is to see how big or how much charge you have left using these bright ass blue lights that could illuminate a whole street. Or the other button is actually a flashlight that uses the same lights, but it turns a different color on, a white light, and it's super bright, kind of like your phone. And so the thing is just turning on and off in my bag all day. So it's basically been draining.
It's basically
without
dead
being
weight.
Used.
Because by the time he needs
right
it, he's gonna have no battery.
So it's kind of annoying.
And he's gonna be asking me to use my battery, but I did not account to share my battery, so that will be...
Well, the headlamp seems to be holding up, so I'm not too worried about that. And then I don't think I'm going to need to, as long as I'm able to recharge my 4 camera batteries, I shouldn't need an external battery to recharge them. So, because our longest stretch is only 1 day more than this stretch that we're doing.
Yeah, but if there's nowhere to charge it, it ends up being 11 days without recharging. So you just have to take that into account.
And then there's the phone, but I haven't been using the phone. That should last, again, as long as we can recharge it at some point. But, yeah, so far I think I made the right choice of what to bring, given that something is failing and the other thing is actually lasting longer than I thought. So, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's...
Oh, and the Kindle seems to be doing fine.
The Kindle will be fine.
I haven't been putting it in the sleeping bag, but it's draining a little faster than usual, but I think it'll be fine.
But yeah, I think that's like pretty much the highlights for today.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's a big day, big pass. We've heard things. So I don't know, I'm excited about it. Today was pretty chill day, so I mean, it was a solid day.
We pretty much just have like a lot of uphill the first half of our day, and then it'll be all downhill.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I like it when it's like that. I like my uphill
up
front.
We have this beautiful creek 30 feet away from us, absolutely zero fish.
And now we're going to enjoy it and make some dinner.
Yeah.
And we're sad because we realize we only have one apple cobbler dessert. I don't know how that happened, so we're going to have to share it.
Which is terrible. It's our worst nightmare because we got to have our own the first day. Mm-hmm. Now we have to share, and somebody's probably going to end up dead over the second half.
To be continued.
Yeah, you'll find out tomorrow's episode.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, I wanted to thank you real quick for tuning into the show and listening all the way to the end. If you love this episode and you want deeper support in becoming a safe, confident, and self-sufficient hiker and backpacker, then head over to shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist to learn more about our Backpacking Badass coaching program, where I teach you absolutely everything you need to know to be self-reliant on the trails and stop waiting around on others for the adventure invite. So I'd love to help you more in your journey of stepping into your adventurous identity, and that program is the absolute best place for us to start working together. So again, that's shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist, and you can learn all about it there. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you get to spend some time outside this week, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new episode. Bye.